Nebraska has a huge recruiting weekend on their hands, multiple 4-star and even some 5-star prospects. So in today's video, I'm going to go over every single recruit that's coming on campus for the UCLA game, who they are, what they bring to the table, and what their interest is in Nebraska. So really quick, I have a massive recruiting video for you today. If you're pumped up about it, I know I am. Hit that like button. And hey, if you're new to the channel or just a returning viewer, make sure to subscribe. I post Nebraska football content every single day, but most importantly, I post recruiting just like this. So if you're a diehard Husker fan, make sure to subscribe. You will be thanking yourself that you did. But without further ado, let's get into it, going over this huge recruiting weekend for Nebraska. A lot of top-tier prospects will be in Lincoln for the UCLA game. So let's start it off with the 2025 class, the prospects who will be here for this matchup. Slim pickings, not too many guys. The majority of the talents in the 2026 class, I'll get to that in a moment. But talking about 2025, Chase Loftin, 4-star player from Nebraska, second best player in state, will be on campus. I talked about him in an earlier video this week. Again, this is a guy who's coming out of Millard South, listed at 6'6". Again, super lengthy, really good hands, really good catch radius. Currently committed to Florida State, but as I've hinted at, he will be flipping very, very soon. Looks like to Nebraska. I'd say Kansas State's still in the mix there. His brother goes to that school, but again, being close to the Millard South area, obviously an alumni of that school, can firmly tell you that Nebraska is in a very good spot with Chase Loftin. So he'll be on campus for that game. Talked about him earlier in the week. Preston Hawkins is another guy who just popped up on my radar, is a 2025 JUCO offensive lineman, listed at 6'7", 300 pounds, out of North Carolina. Nebraska has not offered him yet. He has some offers from Maryland, Akron, a couple other group of 5 schools, but looks like Nebraska is interested in him, so he will be visiting and on campus this weekend. So that wraps up for the 2025 guys. That isn't really the focus of this video, though. The focus is the 2026 recruits, because oh my goodness, this list is stacked. Let's start it off with a wide receiver. Xavier McDonald, a kid coming out of Mississippi, will be on campus. Top 100 prospect in the class of 2026. Again, plays wide out, listed at 6'3", 165. Watching him on film, really lengthy, really good hands, pretty elite traits overall. Very good receiver. The offer list reflects that. Just needs to put on a little bit of weight. Again, he's listed at 160, but he is currently a junior in high school. I'm sure he will get that weight up, but my goodness, he is a good receiver, top 100 player. You'll take him. He is on campus this weekend. Let's go to a prospect who I believe is one of the Huskers' biggest priorities in the class of 2026. Titan Davis, coming out of St. Louis, Missouri, goes to DeSmet. Listed at 6'5", 240. He is one of the best edge rushers in all of college football recruiting. Top 200 prospect. Greg Smith of Rivals compared him to Chase Young. He definitely has the hair. You look at the offer list for this guy: Oklahoma, Michigan, Oregon. Unbelievable. This guy is an unbelievable talent. Great power rusher, great speed rusher, can do just about everything. Getting to the quarterback. And a guy who's been on campus for Nebraska multiple times, but Huskers are very interested in him. He will be on campus once again. Freak of nature. That's a guy you want to add at that edge rusher spot. Let's go back to the offense. Another top 100 prospect, Brian Bonner, a running back from California, will be on campus this weekend. Again, super twitchy guy, really elite speed, really elite explosiveness. Has offers from Georgia, Oregon, Tennessee, among a couple others. And he's been on campus once again a couple other times. This is his 4th or 5th time visiting Lincoln. So Nebraska's having a lot of success with Brian Bonner as a prospect. Again, guy you want to keep in the back of your mind. He will once again be visiting for this UCLA game. And, give credit to EJ Barthel, current running backs coach. I gave him a lot of praise on Monday's video. He has been one of Nebraska's best recruiters. Not only is he going after Brian Barner very hard, but you have a guy like Devin Walker. He's been going after as well, along with Yates coming out of Mississippi. All of those guys are top 200 running backs. So watch out for Brian Bonner along with those other guys, but Brian Bonner will be on campus this weekend. Let's go back to the defensive line. Hunter Higgins, the number one, or not the number one defensive lineman in the state of Kansas, will be on campus for this game. 4-star, listed at 6'5", 250 pounds. I was high on Hunter Higgins a couple months ago. I am so much more higher on him now. This guy is a complete grown man. Watching him on film, he already has 11 sacks in his junior campaign. That's number one in the state of Kansas. This has been a huge priority for Nebraska already throughout this 2026 recruiting class. Again, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma are in the mix for him as well. But Hunter Higgins is incredibly impressive, a guy who can play all over this defensive line. And, he was on campus for that Oklahoma game, on campus once again here for this UCLA game. So watch out for Hunter Higgins. Pair of linemen for the 2026 class as well. Mitchell Smith, who's a 4-star offensive tackle on Rivals. He will be on campus. He's listed at 6'5", 330 pounds, coming out of Mississippi. A guy who is interested in schools like Ole Miss and LSU, but is giving Nebraska an opportunity here with this visit, along with Braden Wilms, who is a 3-star tackle from Kansas. He's listed at 6'8", 270, interested in schools like Kansas State and Iowa. So watch out for those two pair of tackles. But Nebraska in general, man, they have a lot of talented guys on campus who are in this class of 2026. There's also a couple other guys at wide receiver in the secondary, but those are the main top prospects that you're going to want to remember. Real quick, I want to go over the 2027 prospects, so the current sophomores in high school, because there are some 5-stars. Let's call it what it is, guys, who are coming on campus this weekend. I talked about Ethan Feaster in a video about a week or two ago. This guy's a generational receiver. He's on campus for this UCLA game. He will probably end up being a 2026 guy. He'll reclassify a year up, but I've covered recruiting for a while now. Ethan Feaster is one of the best wide receivers I've ever seen at such a young age. He's only about 16 years old. He is incredible. Getting listed at 6'1", 180, goes to DeSoto back there in Texas. So he'll be on campus. 5-star receiver. I think he's listed as the 4th best player in the class of 2027. You also have Dolph McDonald, who's the 30th best player in the class of 2027. He's actually the brother of Xavier McDonald, who we talked about previously, the top 100 receiver. Dolph actually plays in the secondary. Dolph is 6'1", 160, also coming out of Mississippi. Really, really high upside, lengthy corner who can play all over the secondary. So love Dolph. Again, borderline 5-star prospect there. And then last guy I want to talk about, Samaj Stanford, 2027 safety, the guy who's a borderline 5-star, list as top 100 right now. Nebraska's been after him for a long time. They've have a lot of interest there. He'll be on campus once again. He was on campus throughout the summer, and I think he was on campus earlier this season as well, but Samaj will be back, and Nebraska's fighting Oklahoma early on in this process for him, but he really likes the Huskers. So, all right, guys, a lot of recruits in a short amount of time, but those are the key guys who will be on campus for this UCLA game. A lot of 4-stars, some 5-star guys. People are going to ask me, Wilson, why are you focusing on 2026 in this video? Because 2026 is up next. Well, 2025 is almost done. All the guys have already committed. They're about to sign in a month or so. We've got to start flipping the script to 2026 because that's going to be the focus, and Nebraska is trying to build a really, really good class. This is how you start it off. Get a victory this Saturday against UCLA with these guys up there in person. So, all right, guys, let me know down below. Who do you want the most out of all the players I just mentioned? Which guy do you want the most to commit to the Huskers? Let me know in the comment section. Hey, if you made this far in the video, shout out to you. Hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, folks, go be grad, go Rhule, and see you in the next one.